Well, there's no use sugarcoating it. It just is not a good time to pitch. It feels like no one's buying anything original, and all the big brands, all they want to do is reboots. But there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. It just might not be where you think it is. So let's get into it. Hey there, welcome back to Surviving Animation, your guide to making it in the business of cartoons. My name's Eric Calderon, and I can't say another word without first addressing the terrible situation in Los Angeles with all the wildfires. It's really unfathomable to imagine what must be going on in everyone's daily lives, especially those of you who have lost your homes, lost all your belongings. I can't even imagine how terrible it is. So I used to live in LA myself for about 20 years. I really think of it as kind of my work hometown. So I've checked in with dozens of friends. If you have friends out there or family out there, please check in with them as well. I've given to a couple of GoFundMe campaigns to really help people rebuild their lives. I'm definitely going to give more. So if you're not living in Los Angeles and you can help somehow, everyone there will appreciate it. If you are living there, please stay safe, stay strong. I love you, LA. Okay, before talking about the new state of pitching in 2025, it's important to understand that the traditional model is still going to work for a few select individuals. So let's break down who actually is going to probably get green lights for new shows this year. The first type of person or category that's going to get a green light this year for a TV or film is going to be your really established players. So I'm talking about your senior level showrunners, your top level story editors, people who have maybe won awards and really have these long-standing relationship with distributors or brands or buyers that they can really trust to go out to bat for them next year. So it's a very exclusive club. It's just frankly not most of us, but to be honest, some of the established players are going to get new projects this year. The next big category of originals for TV and film that are going to get greenlit this year are not actually originals. It's going to be the big brands coming into animation for the first time. So that's frankly mostly video games. Everyone's seen the rise in the video game to animation trend. I think we'll see a few more of those. Some have been announced already, but I think there'll probably be another big, whether it be a board game or a piece of published work or a children's graphic novel. There will still be a new original in the marketplace. It's not going to be a sequel or a reboot of an additional animation, but unfortunately, it's going to be a big brand coming from somewhere else into the world of cartoons. The last quote-unquote original you're going to see come out into the marketplace this year is actually going to be probably the co-finance or co-production that is completing its distribution by coming into the States. So in Europe and Asia all the time, there's co-productions, co-financing deals, a lot of smaller shows that are kind of being put together with subsidies, with partnerships. I think you'll see a few of these trickle over. They'll appear to be originals, but in fact, they'll just be the traditional form of co-production and co-financing just now airing onto United States-based platforms. Okay, so now that you know the very exclusive country club of productions, of partners, of talent that are going to get shows, what do the rest of us do in 2025 when it appears that no one's buying or taking a risk on originals? Well, there is a short list that might help you. The first partner you could pitch in 2025 is going to be your private investment community. So I can see a trend where as a lot of these big distributors and their normal platforms of buying start to collapse or reduce, that there's going to be kind of a surge in the private market of people thinking, hey, maybe we can get our original project out there as those pipelines start to thin out and they're looking for originals. Now, what's important when you pitch these private investors is that you not pitch your show or your movie. You have to pitch them the business. How is your project or your production going to give eyeballs to a business that private investor can then later benefit from? Because the fact is, the content itself may not make a lot of money. It may only break even or lose money. But what you're hoping and what you're trying to prove to that private investor is that by putting money into your show or into your business, you're going to be able to create a big advertisement for something that you could all benefit from later. So that's how they're going to get, X times their money back if they put in money into your show, which is actually a business today. The next actual category of people you can pitch your original to, which is not the traditional broadcast or streaming market, is actually your fast channels or your content aggregators. Now, I've seen a rise in these over the past few years. So the fast channels being those small channels on whether it's set-top boxes or hotels or anything like that actually have a kind of a single channel, whether it's like a Paw Patrol channel or some kind of singular brand that decides to actually create a small network, there's a possibility that one of those fast channels will decide to distribute your original content in order to basically fill out their time schedule. Now, you can't really expect a big return on these fast channel sales. In fact, you might get none except for some sort of ad revenue share, but you could be adding eyeballs to your business and it could add up to your overall franchise goal, but you could technically pitch a fast channel. The other one is the aggregator. So that's going to be your Kabillion or your Cartoon Channel or your WildBrain Networks or any of these companies that make a business of aggregating content together in order to generate eyeballs and therefore ad revenue to these. I wouldn't necessarily call them non-traditional, but really more YouTube-based or more fast channel based as well. Now, some of these platforms have actually done quite well for themselves. Low cost, lots of content, distributing widely across a lot of territories and a lot of areas. This is also a great way to get eyeballs to your brand or to your business. And some of these pay a little bit up front. Some of these have very promising ad revenue sharing models. Again, it's not going to fully finance your show, but getting to those fast aggregators could help your overall picture. Finally, and most important, the people or the platform that you should actually be pitching to the most is actually the direct consumer. So as we continue another year into the creator economy, whether it's platforms like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Twitch or any of these ways where you can actually establish a brand, get it directly to your audience, that's actually the pitch you should focus on. That's the one with no barrier to entry, no buyer, no person sitting there across from you to say, well, we like this a little bit, we'll try a development deal. Then you're years away from your product hitting the air. You can actually reach consumers today. Now, the difficult part of that is the financing model, of course, which is you're going to have to find a way either through private investment or through your own money or through a combination of that and a very cheap production model to get your material out there. But really 2025 is going to be the year that you pitch directly to the consumer, and they'll tell you right away whether or not they like it, whether or not you're successful, and you'll have to pivot from there, change to their taste, maybe adjust a little bit to what they're telling you, and create a brand in a more organic manner, which is going to be different than the traditional scripted model. But again, it's who you can pitch today to get your project out there. Okay, that's all I got for you today. It's actually kind of difficult to write this episode because of everything happening in LA, but I wanted to push out a little bit of content for you guys, let you know that really pitching is different this year, more difficult, but there are some places you can go. It might not add to the full picture, but maybe with private investment, maybe with some of your own sweat equity and capital, you can make it happen. So let's survive, and I'll see you in the next one.